Everybody, you're listening to God Spice with Greg and Kirti.
We typically invite people into our Manhattan living room.
That we do.
We're doing something a little unconventional.
We are.
We're inviting you into our mommy-daddy vacation.
A spot down in the Caribbean.
Yes, it's a Dutch
Settled.
establishment.
Yes, that it is.
We're going to keep that still on the DL.
Are we going to eventually divulge where we are? Or are we going to keep the whole thing a mystery?
It's somewhere in the Caribbean. It is not a very popular destination.
But there's no reason why it shouldn't be.
No, it's beautiful. The people
It's
are
gorgeous.
lovely. The beaches are gorgeous. They've got amazing things to see and do and eat.
It's not far from Aruba.
It is not far.
It's not far from Venezuela.
Oh, we might actually be pinpointing where we are.
Well, there's still many islands in the surrounding area, and they get their vegetables from Colombia. Yes.
Yes. Well, right now they do.
Right now.
Because
Yeah.
of the situation.
Yes.
In Venezuela.
So we are shooting outdoors, so there is going to be
This will be our least audio
friendly.
There'll be, lots of loudness
Yes.
and commotion and maybe rain and maybe sun.
Yes, because we're obviously not shooting in a studio, and we're shooting outdoors, and in fact, you can probably just hear the birds chirping left and right around us. And you can hear the wind going through the palm trees, and there's a little bit of a sprinkle that's coming in every once in a while due to the
Some
humidity
tropical
today.
rain action here. I think why we wanted to do this pod from here is actually to just share and relate to other individuals who might be parents or have children and talk about our love and passion for traveling as well
Absolutely.
as the fact that we like to do it with or without our kids.
Well, and the importance of doing it without them. It's wonderful to take family vacations for multiple reasons. It helps expand one's knowledge of culture and tradition across the
Yeah, like
entire
last
globe.
week we talked about music,
We
right?
did.
And the importance of exposure to music from all over the world. And very similarly, we really value and we think it's a great thing for our kids as well as ourselves
Absolutely.
to expose ourselves to other people and cultures.
100%. And also, it's important, I would say, for parents or adults, or if you have a partner, to take time yourself
Yeah.
and not always bring the kids. It's wonderful to do the family vacations, but you
Which we do multiple
which we
years.
do, yes, but you also need time to go away yourselves
Once in a while, I think it's okay for the grown-ups, don't you think?
to have some fun. We're allowed to have some fun.
But you know how I'm a total geek, and you don't like when I throw out my stats all the time out there, but I was actually
I wouldn't
curious.
say that. The stats do not bother me. What are you talking about? I love stats.
Yeah, you like stats when it's about work.
Well, of course, because we can apply statistical information to make calculated decisions.
I know.
But when you're on vacation,
But
I'm not looking at.
I actually wanted to understand.
Stats and analysis.
I wanted to understand
Yes.
how many people of our kind of demographic or situation, or people who are parents,
Yes.
or have obligation to little people, how many of us actually take advantage of having that little bit of screen time?
I concur.
And I was a little shocked. It's like only a little over 20%
That's low.
of parents take the time and energy to go on vacations without their children.
Without their children. Is that even does that include like even little weekend getaways? Just in
It's
general?
in general.
In general.
Which
Why do you think the number's so low?
that might actually be why the divorce rate is so high.
That could very well be. But I do know, when I look at many people that I know that are married, sometimes, not in all situations, but I have seen this where parents just start living vicariously through their children, and then their children are their lives, and they almost forget who they are themselves.
That's right. That's right.
And I believe personally, in a healthy relationship, you have to love your children, but you also need to make sure that you love yourself and take care of yourself.
Self-care.
Self-care, absolutely,
Is
and
really,
that-
really important. And in fact, where we are in this undisclosed Caribbean island is technically a wellness getaway for adults.
It is.
And
It's supposed to be a wellness getaway.
yes, but I'm a little confused. It's a wellness getaway that has a bar.
has a bar and really doesn't have any vegetarian food.
No, it has
It's
lots
mostly
of
meat and fried fish.
Yes.
So we've had to have them make us custom entrees each day.
It's a different definition of wellness.
I think they call that living well disease for many people that tend to overindulge in whatever they do. I guess.
Yeah,
I've heard that term before, but
I actually was surprised that
I
it
was
was
surprised
such a
too.
low percentage of adults, and in fact, the majority say they will predominantly only plan on going on vacation with their kids. And we take our kids on vacation.
We do.
They're exposed, well-traveled. But I do think it's important to have like that separation. And
It's like church and state.
well, I actually read another study then because I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." But then there was another piece of research I came across where people actually who do what we're doing and have that kind of separate space, with our kids. In our case, it's a little bit different because we were divorced and then they're with our exes right now.
Sure.
But before I got divorced, my husband at the time and we actually went on quite a few trips without our daughter. And, she built a different bond with my mom by like having her stay with her grandmother, right?
Sure.
Like she was exposed to just being a little bit more independent and she was like, oh, I need to do something on my own. And this other research study actually talks about that kids who are actually put in these positions, they have another level of maturity and they develop skills they otherwise wouldn't.
By not having their parents around them, because they're forced. Well, if you think about it, as a child, it's very easy to manipulate your parents and get them to do what you want them to do when they're around. But when someone else is taking care of you, you almost have to live by the rules of that individual that's taking care of you.
Yeah.
And during that period, they may have a different way of raising, I shouldn't say raising the individual because it's a short period of time, but a different set of rules in how they interact with you.
Yeah.
And so that definitely helps, I would say, build the
I have a
maturity.
question for you. When you, did you ever leave your daughter and go on a trip without, like when you were married?
It was on the more rare side.
Oh, well, that explains a lot. So when I would leave my daughter with, whether it was even for a day with a friend to go do something, or it was like go to China with my ex.
Sure.
We went on real far-away
I
trips.
wanted to take trips, but we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. No more. I got the point.
Yep.
What are some of the favorite places you've traveled?
That's a good question. I enjoyed our trip with the kids to Portugal, Turks and Caicos. Loved Mexico. Loved Isla Mujeres, Cancun. Greece is spectacular. Different islands on Greece, and Santorini's are beautiful islands. There really isn't a destination that I have disliked, and each one has something special in its own right that I've pulled away from that particular experience. Like St. Kitts, like that's up there. What I love about St. Kitts is that was another trip with just the two of us, which was fantastic. We enjoyed the food, we enjoyed the ambiance, a lot of music. It was a wonderfully romantic time away.
What's interesting about that island is like it's a formation from volcanoes, and they said there's still an active volcano on the other side.
So that adds to the spiciness.
It does.
And heats up the romance, if you know what we're talking about. And
you bring up a really good point. Like how it's so hard to find opportunities to be intimate when you're a parent, and it's like by the time you like get off the computers and your mobile devices and you put the kids to bed, it's like
exactly. It's like before the kids wake up in the morning, when the kids go to bed at night, and you're on vacation by yourselves. It could be any time you want it because there's no schedule.
That's true.
And even like St. Kitts, just the hotel that we stayed in was the Park Hyatt, the way that they designed basically bungalows into the ambiance
it wasn't obnoxious.
It wasn't an obnoxious hotel. They didn't take away from the land itself, right? They built architecture directly right into the earth, into the islands. Yeah, it was really, and just gorgeous views of the ocean, and it was such a lovely time. That was a great time.
Such a great
But
time.
also, when going away without the kids, what's also fun is to bring friends.
Oh,
so when we brought, when Lita joined us in Jamaica, which
Yeah.
was an absolute wonderful time.
We had a blast.
We had an absolute
We went to
blast.
shows, we ate food,
Yeah.
we went dancing.
We did probably one of the weirdest things that I've probably ever done in my life. The silence party.
Oh my god, the silent party was so bizarre.
The first and last time I think I ever want to do a silent party. If you're
No offense
unsure,
to silent party lovers,
Yeah.
but
it wasn't for us. It was a weird experience. And if you're unsure what a silent party is, they give you headphones, and there's 2 different DJs spinning, and you can choose what frequency you want to be on, and you can listen to that DJ's music. So take a group of 500, 1,000 people dancing in complete silence because they're all wearing headphones. Yeah, and so we're trying to communicate with each other. And some of us had one DJ on, another had the other DJ on.
Of
It's
going to a dance club
Absolutely.
and finding ways to connect with other human beings with
it's
dance and music.
I agree. You're basically partying by yourself.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it brings you into your own world.
Maybe it's good for like super introverts,
It could be very good for introverts.
you know?
Or those who just spend their time in the metaverse 247, and it enables them to remain in that world of themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Like when we want to be a Roblox character of some sort.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
want to,
An avatar.
we pick our avatar and our look and feel. I mean, I always wanted to have Bigfoot wide shoulders and go to a virtual dance party.
Really? And carry around like Thor's hammer and start beating people up?
Yeah. Like that's like totally my Minecraft book.
Yeah, I think I transformed into someone from like Dancing with the Stars. The noise in the background is all the noise. But that's shooting live. It's kind of like, news broadcast where, hey, they're
Yes.
shooting live and everything's happening around them.
That is
It's
true.
noisy, but that's all right.
What's the favorite thing I do for us every time we do something?
Hitting the spa.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is like so important.
It's wonderful when you're on a tropical vacation and you spent time in the sun, and towards the end of your trip, have a spa appointment, get a salt rub, which cleanses the body and cleanses it of all dead cells.
Or sugar.
Or it could be sugar. And then a massage right on top of it. It's such a perfect way to conclude a vacation. So is that how you've retained your youth?
Yes.
Yes.
We've all been massaged with oil. In fact, I have a story
'Cause
about that.
well, didn't you say, aren't you like several thousand years old because you're Aryan or something like that?
Well, depending
So
on
it's
the
pretty-
type of Indian
I just thought you were a
yes.
vampire. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes, I'm 6,000 years.
So it's really just natural oils and eucerin body rubs
Yes.
that you're getting that retains the youthfulness.
Yes, it does.
Let's hear about the oil.
My
Was it hot oil? Was it cold oil? Was it olive oil?
My came here when I was born,
And for those of you who do not know what an IE is, that is an Indian term for grandmother.
well, specifically Canada.
And Canada, yes.
It's a Canada.
Yes.
My IE came here when my mom was having me, and I was born in June. I'm a June baby, and that's why I love and gravitate towards sunny places. But she came here, and we were living in kind of like that Greenwich Village / East Village-ish area where my parents had their place, and she decided to do what Indian people do. She basted me in an oil massage bath. She dressed me in a cute little silk outfit
Very
and
nice.
put me in a stroller and took me out for a stroll. And people were wondering, why is this child born to relatively fair parents? And I don't know if you remember what my eye looks like. She's very
I
fair.
do, yeah.
And my mom's really fair. And I came out just a normal combination of my mom and my dad, but I suddenly started really getting brown. And they discovered it was because I was being taken out for a walk after my roasted oil massage.
Treatment, which is like the perfect recipe for, especially, if you're more fair skinned, the perfect recipe to be burned.
Well, I didn't get burned. I just got I turned into a kebab. I was
kebab.
I was a Kirti kebab.
So unlike your sister who's chutney, you're a kebab.
Yes, I became a kebab.
Oh, is that why you like chicken? The only meat that you'll eat?
No, I was exposed to them actually when I was a kid because my uncle, who came from India, he encouraged my mom and me to expand our palate that will make it easier to travel and whatnot. And so he actually introduced this like eating chicken kebabs to us because it was flavored and marinated and such good food. Like it was tasty, right? And it's so funny. My dad has never eaten it, but he's like the only vegetarian of all his brothers. But he would be like, "You should try it. It's so good." And I'm like, "How do you know? You didn't eat it. You have not eaten it."
I haven't tried it. Yes.
No, he still hasn't tried it.
Oh, interesting.
And he's like, "But it looks so good." He was right. It was so good.
Yes.
So good.
Yes, and you still enjoy it.
I still enjoy it. I definitely eat. I think I eat a lot less chicken though over the years. It just fills me up too much.
Sure.
So I.
That's particular in how it's prepared too, and also the type of meat, whether it's breast versus.
Yeah, and a lot of Asians will eat a variety of parts
just chop
of the
it right up
chicken.
with the bone, just throw it in a.
Yeah.
In a meal.
Well, no, they don't have a bone.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you like it that way. I'm saying, but that's how it's sometimes served.
It could be if it's a stew type dish, but like I'm so particular. I don't like eating chicken, which they've actually been able to accommodate here whenever I've been wanting to eat some chicken. It's not a bad thing.
Something else that we do recommend for those that are going to travel without their kids, which is a wonderful service to have, and it's something to just always explore. Some places may just have it, others you may have to pay just a little extra, but it could be completely worth it. Is a butler service.
Oh, yeah.
It saves you mad time, and actually helps to give you discounts on excursions because they can pull strings. They'll get you in the restaurants you want. They'll take care of everything at the hotel, so you're not on the phone with concierge or front desk all the time, which sometimes you can't even get in touch with. Because when you come to an island, everything happens to be on island time.
There's island car sounds coming.
Island car sounds.
Through the palm trees.
The motorbikes, yes. But it can help out quite a bit in providing a more accommodating
I think it just
experience.
is about finding the deals.
Yeah.
I'm like huge on deals, right? And I also, when I tend to book our trips, I don't want to go anywhere I've already been. It's so important to like try to visit a new place, a new country, a new culture, and
Like a true local culture.
yes.
Not the fictitious culture that they try to replicate at a resort.
No, and I don't think we like. I hate having that like same like kind of American entire vibe and feeling, and I think why live America then? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Today is our last day.
Our last full day. Yes. Yes.
And we're gonna try to hit the beach, which is miraculous.
Yes, the beach is gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yes, Gregory. Gregory.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah. Water. Even the temperature of the water was amazing. And then we actually have
There's a beach bar right there, which is nice.
Well, and the other thing is like
Serving
when
some
you're looking
food.
at deals, is to try to find those promo packages. Like I got a promo package where we have the spa included, but then tonight they're making a custom-made dinner for us.
Yes, which is nice. In a private dining room.
Yes.
Which will be nice.
Yeah.
And again, part of just an overarching package deal. Are you gonna have some tree chicken, as they call it?
No, thank you.
No, no iguana.
No iguana for
No
me.
iguana.
No, thank you.
No, no. It's a chicken, tree chicken,
No.
as they locally call it.
And they ain't no chicken. I don't know if they're cooking up the big guy that walked by us before.
Kirti eating the iguana. Kirti is converted from vegetarianism. Vegetarianism to non-vegetarianism.
Oh, Jesus.
Are we going to tell people where we are, or are we going to force them to leave a comment and ask where we are, and we'll respond that way?
I don't know. I haven't decided what we should do.
I will say, as a hint, they do make a liquor.
I get you working, honey. Gotta work it, bitch.
Gotta work it.
There you go. Well, that gives it away, Greg.
Doesn't give it away. You already said Dutch settled, but Amstel Light is a type of beverage, but there
are many Dutch
there is a
settles.
digestive that is the same name as the island.
Gregory.
Yes.
You know I like to roll on the DL.
We're rolling the DL. What's not DL? The designated lightweight? Well, one thing that we've also really noticed, especially with travel, it can be challenging. JFK, 2 weeks ago, a terminal was completely shut down. Was it due to power loss or a technology glitch or something of that nature?
That was the FAA, right? They had issues with their computers.
Was it? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then you had Heathrow that was losing bags left and right this
Yeah,
past
so
year.
I've been, as you know, flying a lot since my parents came here as immigrants. They really brought us up flying everywhere. Like we didn't consider it a vacation unless you flew somewhere to be away and explore something new. So outside of going to India, like every other year or every couple of years, whatever it may be, because it was important for us to see family and immerse ourselves in that culture. My dad really was just always so good about taking his entire family somewhere, like whether it's the islands, whether we went to Europe, different parts of the U.S., we saw things.
Sure.
And flying is expensive. It was expensive back then. It's still expensive now, and I think airlines have certainly taken advantage post-COVID of hiking up prices. And I was like, oh my God, how are we going to go anywhere with the kids? How are we going to do this? And just putting out a tip there, and I think between work travel and personal travel, it's become really, really critical that you find the airline you love and you kind of accumulate miles and status because it really helps.
It makes a big difference, especially if you're in your profession, you have to travel a lot. It's best to just use one particular airline, continue to rack up miles from all the business travel that your company's paying for anyway, but you get to retain those miles and apply that to your personal travel.
Exactly. And so even though things have been rough for us from like a professional standpoint, right? Like I left a really big job to do something exciting and build something new. You also did a similar thing. You left a big job to go do something new, build a product that people we thought need, and the job situation didn't really end up in a really good place, right? Full-time job.
Taking chances, right?
It's taking some calculated risks.
Yes.
And we could have probably, I think, been a bit more myopic and saying, oh, it's hardship right now. We can't do something to make ourselves happy. But traveling, for me personally, and I think you feel the same way as me, right? But I think it's just so critical to mental health. And
absolutely, and especially when you live in New York City and you live in a box.
And finding that work-life balance.
Yes.
And is it easy to spend money and go somewhere? No. Am I gonna sort of probably have agita about it for a few weeks? Probably. But when I look at the big picture, I think the juice is worth the squeeze, and having time with you here after everything we've been through with our professional as well as health issues that we've had the past several months. We hadn't gone anywhere. The most is we went to your house where, your sister in your house, or we went to my parents' house. That's it. And
which is very few and far between anyway.
Yeah. So it's recharging and finding that new place in your mental health, I think is just so important.
Yeah, I agree.
And how you get there, I think, is just being proactive, right? And planning for those mileage cards on your planes, or finding those promotional discounts to get to that destination. And
there's ways to find deals.
There's smart ways to travel.
A vacation doesn't need to be as pricey as most people think.
Right.
It's if you find the deal, you know how to understand how the system works and how to apply miles, you can fly and travel really quite well on an economically stable, sound budget.
Yes. And look, I'm a Delta girl. And I did veer away from Delta.
We did.
It was not working out schedule and price-wise.
Yes, it wasn't.
Sadly. And we took JetBlue here.
Which was fine.
It was fine. And, I was within my means. Right?
I didn't fly in JetBlue in a while, again, because we fly Delta mostly, where we've been able to rack up our miles. But one thing I was going to say earlier, when flying, and this is what I was bringing up, with Heathrow losing bags, what we find, and what's challenging is I'm not a small person, and so when I travel anywhere, just my shoes alone can fill up a bag.
They're ginormous.
They're ginormous. And so what we try to do though is, so we try to pack as little as possible and always bring carry-on.
You know what they say
Always
about
bring
men
carry-on.
with giant feet?
Yes, big shoes.
No comment.
No comment. And we'll just say it's corroborated that it's true. So, but I'll tell you, also another thing that's challenging, because when we do travel though with the kids, when traveling internationally, that does require bringing in the exes to sign affidavits in order to take them out of the country. And brings me back to a story when I was younger. I remember I was 13, my first time going to Mexico. One of my best friends invited me to go on this trip with he and his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 13 at the time, and I remember we went into, his parents at the time were living in the city, the place in the city, the place in Connecticut. So we stayed in the city overnight. A cab picked us up early morning, took us to the train to Amtrak, which then took us to Philadelphia, because for the same reason, he was trying to find the best flights to bring us to Mexico.
This is
Happened to be
sounding like a very complicated.
Oh no! So it gets better than this. So we get to Philadelphia. He gets up to the ticketing booth to check in, and they ask where my documentation is to be taken out of the country. Of course, didn't even think about it. Didn't have it. So he asks for the paperwork. We quickly go outside of the terminal. Go outside. He quickly forges everything, brings it back up, goes to a different teller, shows the paperwork, and then we're able to get, or else I wouldn't have been able to go. We'd have been stuck there.
Oh, you wouldn't have had your Isla Mujeres.
I wouldn't have had my Isla Mujeres trip. And this is, many years ago now, when Isla Mujeres was a completely different island than even what it is now.
Yeah.
And so we get on the plane. This is back in the day when the pilots would fly with the cockpit door open.
Yeah.
So we went into the cockpit, we were chatting with the pilots, they were showing us the plane, how to fly it. It was really a fun experience.
Yeah. Do you remember when they would come out and give us like pins?
They used to come out and give pins. I remember a friend of mine, his dad was a
What I
pilot.
don't
His
miss
dad
is
used to come out and sit with them.
smoking on the airplane.
Oh yes, that's just the pure fact that you're allowed to have fire.
Again, no offense
37,000,
to
40,000 feet in the air. So so you're saying you have a story from your dad.
I mean, look, we've got a lot of stories when the Knight families have gone out on vacations.
Mm-hmm.
But the one where I think my family was a little appalled by me is
Aren't they always?
hey, my dad is like super supportive of like when we're interested in traveling somewhere because we're learning about it or whatever. And I was at the time studying global history, super into it. I was really curious about wanting to go see Europe, and coolest dad ever was like books this huge trip, the whole family, later that summer. And we traveled from England down to France, and hit all the different countries above and across and all that. It's still one of the most amazing trips I will always remember going with my whole family.
That's fun.
Because we literally saw all of Europe. Like
That's great.
there was really no rock unturned. He did an amazing job, him and mom, of like organizing it. But so when I said that I was over air sickness, I mean I thought I was, but we landed in London and I was just
You were
not feeling
sick.
good. I was not feeling good from that plane ride. And we get into the the British cabs, which are the black cab with the doors that open like this.
Yep. You're looking at each other in the
Yes.
seats, yeah.
And so mom and dad are sitting on this side, and I think Priyanka was in the middle. She was small. She was like a baby practically when we went. Well, not baby, but yeah, 6 maybe.
Okay.
She was small.
Yeah.
And I and Food were sitting on this side. I suddenly did not feel well. And the guy's like London cab, breaking.
Really? Oh.
Not feeling good. And my family's like, oh, look at that. Oh, look, that's beautiful. Oh,
Big Ben, Parliament.
they're looking at all that. They're pointing it out. You know what I was doing?
Trying to not vomit?
No, I stuck my face out of the window. I found a way to open the window. And I was vomiting outside the window the entire ride until I got to the hotel.
Oh my Lord. That is horrible. Did the cab driver know?
No.
No? Did anyone know?
And then I'm discreet, I wipe and they're like, you were looking out the window, right? And everything. I'm like, and you get out, and my vomit is splashed all over the cab. It was so disgusting.
That is disgusting. I've had that happen.
It was a horrible feeling. It was
on
horrible.
One of my cars from someone I was driving one night.
The thing is too, we were on a very strict itinerary. You had to get to the hotel, we had to check in, shower, and then they have a welcome thing for we were part of this tour group. It was 20 people.
Yes.
So, and actually...
Like a Rick Allen type thing?
Sort of, because then actually the other family, there's another family there with 2 kids, and the older daughter was my age, and the smaller one was Pooja's age. We all ended up hanging out together, for this, 3-4 week long tour that we were together, and actually I'm still connected with this woman today. She still lives in Chicago area or Michigan, if I'm right, and we're Facebook friends, and we became pen pals after that, and would write letters to each other even after the Europe trip.
Sure.
And these are the things though that our kids are not going to experience this much, because if we take Kieran somewhere, actually Kieran and Nathan made friends with that cute German girl. Remember
she
last
did
year?
in Portugal. Yes.
And so they did stay
They were vacation
connected
buddies.
on Insta for a little bit, but then it kind of fizzled. I don't think they talk her really all that much, and WhatsApp, but it was still that type of experience is fun. The only notion that's not there is the pen pal notion.
Well, even our trip here, which we came out as part of our podcast to shoot in this remote location, which brought us here. But even while we were here, we befriended a couple from Montreal, befriended a couple from Toronto.
Yeah.
And then another couple that happened to be from New York.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It's exciting to travel, meet, and do things. Just don't recommend maybe purging your guts, but actually, that's for knowing how to travel as you travel more, and knowing your limitations as well as what you can or can't eat. You just have to be cognizant of that, especially when you're traveling in international countries.
I would say that's key. It's not also just knowing what you can and cannot eat, it's knowing what to eat and drink locally as well, and how your stomach may react. And it's also not uncommon for the stomach to feel potentially a little upset along your trip because you're ingesting
new kind of germs.
New germs, essentially, that might be in the water. It's still clean water, but there's still going to be potentially a different set of germs that your body is. You have to acclimate to it, right?
But before we wrap up, I thought it'd be fun to talk about our top icks of traveling.
Sure.
Travel icks. I have one.
Okay.
My ick is there is never the right vanity kind of setup in any kind of hotel. I think so many great hotels get it wrong.
That's true. I agree with you.
There should be a shower cap, a nail file,
proper lighting,
proper lighting, vanity.
Proper vanity size.
I have an ick about vanities.
Okay, that's a good ick.
How about you?
I think one of my icks is I feel there's never enough bottled water in the room. Constantly, always having to call concierge for more water.
I agree with that.
That's one of my icks.
Another ick. Clearly, my drink is not being consumed anymore. It looks nasty. It has this much left in it, and I do not know where this policy came up in any hotel chain or hotel establishment I've been at. But they don't take your freaking cup unless you say, please take it and give me a new cup.
I think one of my icks is the false advertising that's often used on a website to describe an amenity, and then when you get there, it's not an accurate description. An example was when we were out in Montauk a few years back, out in the Ditch Plains area. On the website, it said you could sign up for surf lessons, and I wanted to take some surf lessons. When we arrive, the guy says to me, he's like, oh yeah, just go down to the beach at like 5:30, 6 a.m. You'll see some surfers down there.
What?
Wait, what? What does that mean? Like some rando local surfers are just going to be there? No, you advertise that you're giving surfing lessons. I want to sign up. And
I have
that's
I have another ick. This ick could probably go on for a while. The ick list. When resorts claim they're on the beach.
Oh yes.
But they're actually not.
They're not on the beach. Yes. They claim that they're on the beach.
When a hotel tells me it's on the beach, I expect it to be on the freaking beach, guys.
Not a 5-minute shuttle ride away from the beach, which is annoying beyond belief.
And not with like roads in between. Then I go to Jersey Shore people, okay?
Mm-hmm. I think another ick.
Yeah.
I think another ick that I have is when you say go to the bar and we enjoy tequila or champagne, and then they have one bottle of tequila, and when that tequila has run out, they have no more tequila.
Or they have shitty tequila.
Or they have Cuervo. Come on now. Yeah, which is crappy tequila.
It's the original tequila.
The original hangover.
That got out into the outer space. Another ick of mine is when hotels don't have the slippers for us.
Yes, I concur. It's nice to have slippers.
Why do I have to carry my own chuckles? For indoor and then to wear outdoor?
Another ick for me is, or is it just me, that I feel like there's never enough towels.
Never
You
enough.
always have to call, again, concierge or housekeeping to bring more towels.
Well, there's 2 people, so there should be just a double set of each. And then when you
Yes.
know there's 4 people and you charge us
Uh-huh.
for the kids,
Yes.
there should be extra towels.
There should be extra,
to accommodate
correct.
the number of patrons in the
Oh,
establishment.
talking towels. What's another ick of mine? And this is, it doesn't matter what hotel, whether it's economy or a fancy spot. You show up and you go to take a shower, and unless, we'll bring our own, shampoo and face soap and things of that nature. But when you go and take a look at the products that they've supplied you, there's 4 shampoos and no body wash. And then you call the front desk and you call housekeeping.
Or there's no conditioner.
Or there's no conditioner.
It's weird.
But then you call, housekeeping, and then what do? They bring you another bottle of shampoo, and then you have to physically speak with them and say, no, I need body wash.
Yeah.
And then finally they bring you body wash, and you get it like an hour later.
And then my other ick is when hotels and resorts haven't modernized their menus to accommodate like vegetarians and vegans or chickatarians in my case.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're going to be an establishment that's welcoming people from around the world, you should sort of maybe get with the times and offer
an array of healthy
food. Not
Yes.
just here's some lettuce and here's broccoli.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of
Gross.
Yeah, it's not very appetizing.
Speaking of which, I think we're hungry now, right? For the
We
lunch.
are quite hungry.
So we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes, we are. We're ready to wrap it up. I think one more ick though.
You have another ick?
I have another ick. When as you are always great at, is finding these hotel deals and packages, and then speaking with the hotel when they arrange a car service to pick you up from the airport, and then you arrive at the airport and your vehicle's not there. You go to the desk where, the help desk, which is supposed to help supply the vehicle, they have no idea where that person is. Or they basically they screw up the whole transfer service for you.
Yeah.
And one of my icks is it's not that hard to get some basic things right
Yeah.
and get you to your end destination.
We're not asking for a limo or
No,
champagne or
just-
strawberries.
Back